Next up will be Overton High School, Memphis, Tennessee. Reducing chronic absenteeism for Hispanic and ELL students. Ryan Littman, and I don't know if anybody's joining online.
It's Brad Sharp who's giving.
Oh, it's Brad.
That's me.
Hey. Come on. If you guys want to follow the same protocol, they're going to give us a 2-minute description. Then they're going to spend about 6 minutes saying, hey, this is really the area that they could benefit most from your input. Some clarifying questions, and then table talk and creation of post-it notes. So, on to you, Brian, and for your team.
I'm Brad.
Brad, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, Brad.
Last minute change. My name is Brad Sharf. I'm an ELL classroom teacher from Overton High School in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a teacher, I'm an advocate, I'm an everything in between.
So my name is Vân Anh Nguyễn. I'm working in student success. So we provide data analytics and continuous improvement support for Overton High School. So he's my leader.
She's the data person.
So I can start with some background of our project. Actually we have 2 schools in our project. One is Kingsbury Middle and Overton High School. Both schools have high rate of the population of ELL Hispanic students, and they have seen a trend in terms of chronic absenteeism rate. So you probably heard this already. So a student is considered chronically absent if they miss at least or more than at least 10% of school day, which is equal to a month of the school year. And latest week's data, we have around 1 in 2 students at Overton High are chronically absent for this year. And it has been a problem we really want to work on, and that's why we applied for our project. And Kingsbury Middle School couldn't be here today, so for today we just present for Overton High. Yeah, and back to you.
Brad, Brian,
Brad, Ryan, school teacher. So basically the issue is trying to get kids to come to school on a consistent basis. I am not a policy maker. I'm the person that the rubber hits the road. I just try to put these, implement whatever policies are in place. So the gist of the gist of the project was sending out a mail merge, letters to students, letting them know about their absenteeism rate, and trying to encourage that student to come to school with more frequency. We didn't have a lot of success with sending out that information. Also, there was a second intervention where we sent out the same information directly home to the students' parents, and that way we can be sure that the parent received the information. And we asked that in turn that the parents would sign the document and send it back to school, and we didn't receive responses from parents. So we have some unique challenges at Overton, and it's a tough go.
I guess I can provide a bit of data for the intervention. So Overton High School have run 3 different interventions. So we focus on small tests of GEM, and we folks who work in continuous improvement, maybe know this term PDSA. So we have, I think, we have quite limited resources in terms of, we have 2 teachers with full-time capacity for teaching, and then they also engage in the work of absenteeism. So we run around 30 students for each intervention on a chronically absent, on a Hispanic and ELL. And the first intervention, we have some issue with the physical mailing, so we learn from that. And then the second intervention, we try to use mail merge to produce quicker result. And we send out to students. And then so that the original mechanism will start. We expect that the student will return us the letters to confirm that they read and acknowledge the letters about their absenteeism rate. But we didn't receive any return from the student. And then the team be like, okay, we learned from that. So next intervention cycle, we just send straight directly to parents. And we also didn't receive interventions result. And then at the time, we cannot put our heads together and do empathy interviews with a quick group of students. And then we realized that most of the students are working during the pandemic and they're still working. So they are from working class families, Hispanic, ELL, they work to support their families. So I think that's our theories, that maybe they know the issues, but they couldn't maybe have a practical mechanism to improve it. Yeah.
The ideal and the reality are two different situations. We would like the kids to come to school with consistency, but from a practical standpoint, I know that my students have a myriad of issues that they have to deal with at home. Paying light bills, they're paying water utility bills, trying to support siblings, watching siblings at home. A lot of my students are working overnight in warehouses, in distribution centers. Memphis is a distribution hub, and a lot of warehouse work. So a lot of my students are, in my estimation, are being exploited and working overnight. So these are the issues I face on a day-to-day basis.
I think that would be it for our quick presentations.
Thank you so much. We're going to take some clarifying questions now.
I have a question real quick just about what partnerships do you have with these communities already? And are you having listening sessions or anything like that to really understand kind of some of those root causes or trends in root causes?
We have some partnerships, but I think through the pandemic, a lot of that's kind of gone by the wayside, and we're trying to reestablish those relationships with the local community support. Yep.
I have 3 questions. The first question is, do you offer remote or hybrid learning where some of these kids maybe could do their lessons online? Or
That's
anything like
not
that?
something we have in place right now, but through the pandemic, we had remote learning, but we're back in person. Yeah.
The next question is Overton High. I'm not that familiar with that high school in Memphis. Do the kids ride the bus? Are they walkers or?
It's a mix. So the neighborhood kids will walk to school. We have kids who are out, I would say kind of outside the district who we have a bus system that gets kids to school.
Okay, so you could talk to the bus drivers about encouraging or make sure they're not passing by.
We're
and all that
sneaking in
kind
some
of stuff.
solutions, but
Okay.
we're just on questions.
All right,
Thank you.
third question, thank you for that clarification.
And keep in mind, and I want to keep in mind, I'm a classroom teacher, so I'm in the thick of it.
I know, but you have to ask questions.
Sure, I understand.
Donna, should I get my third question?
Yes.
How free are you to ideate? What I mean by that is, can you put everything on their table, or are there constraints? So everything being hours of school operations, location of school operations, a vehicle through which you educate students. Are you asking students to come to you within your current design, or do you have the ability to completely reconceptualize how you meet students in their current needs?
I'm really confined by whatever district mandates are put in place. Again, I'm not a decision maker.
You're part of the team, so
I'm
just
part of
let
the team, and I'm the low-rung person on the hierarchy. I don't want to sound
Come on, Brian.
defensive, but
I know. Okay, we're gonna go here and here.
So I just want to say thank you, because I know it takes a lot of courage to sit up here in front of a bunch of people who you perceive to be decision makers.
we have this sense of belonging. I'm not necessarily feeling that I belong with this panel, but I'm
And
here.
I'm acknowledging that, and then I want to be accountable to that. So to the prior presentation, and so here's my question. Because you don't have authority over changing systems,
I change with kids.
what do you feel like you do have agency over, either in terms of just working with kids, but then also your voice as a teacher matters to people who are decision makers? And so to the extent that you can imagine, I don't want to get into solutions, but my question is, to the extent that you can imagine having any influence over decision makers, do you feel like you could leverage that to propose solutions?
I work in a top-down system. So
Okay.
I'm being honest, I'm not particularly well connected. I'm a classroom teacher, I'm in the thick of it. My concerns are completely different from what y'all deal with on a
Right,
day-to-day
and
basis.
you don't feel like you have any voice or are listened to by administrators?
By my school level administrators, I
Okay.
do. But by district folks who pop in, they're not coming to my classroom.
Okay.
Okay, I want to share some thoughts as a partner of Overton High. And to your question around the constraints, I think they have commitment, they have the skill, not the gaps, right? What are the skill gaps, motivation gaps, or time gaps? So the team have, from my lens, I'm not working at the school district, I'm just a partner of them. So we do have monthly meeting to check in on the progress. So from I also share with them that we don't have a motivation or skill gaps. We do have a time and resource gap. And so that's and I do accept my partners, my co-workers' views. I think that's something we want to be intentional and be processing and navigating and how to working through that to have a holistic solution for our children. So I feel like we are at the point where we are aware of all the constraints we're having. We also we also think up another solution to the question around, what is in our control. So the next intervention cycle, which will start planning after we come back from this convenience and start implementing in September next year for the academic year, is CTE class. So I think I asked my partner the same question, like what things we can have a control over, and I systematically, and we welcome any of your input as well, like how can we interfere or motivate the parents to drop kids at school while they need the financial support from the kids. So we think of how about we expand the option of CTE class, technical classes, provide more motivation for the parent and the student to come and learn practical measures to help their families. So that's our next intervention cycle. So we're working on that. So we hope that through implementing and learning from our improvement areas, then we can scale things up a little bit better next time.
Thank you. I had called on one more person for a question, and then we have to move to the next part, please.
That's the fun, I think. Is any part of your project tracking the academic outcomes of the students with chronic absenteeism?
Yeah, we did correlation analysis. So overall trends is Hispanic ELLs have the highest absenteeism rate. And overall, at the school level, the students who have high absenteeism also correlated with like lower grades, lower academic performance. So that's why we focus on absenteeism.
And has that been part of your communication strategy with families or with students?
I'm not sure about everything activities going on at school levels. I'm gonna.
We try to reach out to parents through bilingual mentors, through WhatsApp, through different social media platforms. The issue that I find on a day-to-day basis is that our parents are working 2 and 3 jobs. They're not always available to come to the school, or also a lot of our parents feel nervous about coming to school because they don't know, are they going to be, the perception is, are they going to be treated poorly because of the language barrier? Will this parent have trouble with immigration services? I mean, that's the perception. I'm not saying that's, yeah.
We hear a round of applause for